I got fired from my job, and right on the spot I threatened my boss, told him I'd have his life within 3 days. Then, out of nowhere, he actually died that same day. I nearly lost control of my bladder. I was so scared, and in some kind of panic reflex, I pulled the weapon right out of him. That's when it hit me. Pulling it out myself basically made me look like the killer, so I tried to put it back in, standing there for who knows how long, just unable to make myself do it. That's when I thought to get a coworker to help, saw me covered in blood with the weapon in my hand, and just froze on the spot. I did keep my word though, threatened him in the morning, and it came true before noon. I knew there was no way to explain this, so I decided to just get out of there. The cops showed up fast, and I knew I couldn't prove my innocence at that point, so I pinched my nose like I had a nosebleed, and just casually walked out like nothing happened. And right on the way out, I ran into the actual killer, who'd just escaped through a pipe. I told him, "This isn't what it looks like." He just stared at me, totally confused. I'm guessing he thought something was wrong with me, but he didn't have time to think it through either. He was in a rush to grab his stuff and take off. I ran all the way to a bridge. Figured carrying the weapon around wasn't smart, so I tried to toss it in the river to get rid of the evidence. Instead, it landed right on a police patrol boat. Now things were even harder to explain, so I just kept running. What I didn't know was that the police had already figured out who the real killer was. There was a hidden camera in the office that caught the whole thing on tape, but I had no idea about any of that. I was completely convinced I was a wanted man, so every time I saw a cop, I instinctively ducked out of sight. Eventually, I found an ATM, trying to pull out some cash to go on the run. Right after I typed in my PIN, it hit me. ATMs have cameras. I might have just given away my location. I panicked, threw my ID and bank card in the trash, and kept only $36. Then I found a bathroom, washed the blood off myself, and headed straight for the bus station. Meanwhile, the real killer saw the police release the security footage on the news and realized he was in serious trouble. That night, he stole a Jeep, planning to make a run for the Mexican border. And on the way, he crossed paths with me again. He noticed I kept staring at him and got suspicious. Figured I was following him, so he sped off. What he didn't realize was, I couldn't actually see him at all. The window was installed backwards, so all I could see was my own reflection. I was about to catch some sleep when the driver told me it was time to get off. Something felt off. This didn't look like Mexico at all. Turns out the ticket seller had only sold me a ticket for half the trip. The driver felt bad for me, so he tried to help. Told me Mexico wasn't actually that far. Just cross 3 mountains, 4 rivers, walk about 100 miles, and I'd basically be there. Then he left me out in the middle of nowhere and drove off.